Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to be designing a crochet cardigan. So I have already made a lot of progress on this cardigan before I started filming, but I'm going to talk you guys through the whole design process. So I started off by drawing out all of the pieces that I wanted to sew together to make the complete cardigan. So it's made up in different panels. So let's start off with the front panel. This had a diagonal section where I wanted the front of the cardigan to be, and there's going to be a neckline on that section, so it's diagonally down, and to make that all I did was decrease all the way down. And then I have a visible shoulder section as well. So I made two pieces. One of them is a mirror opposite of the other, and then I also put ribbing at the bottom. Okay, that's it for the two front pieces, and the next part was the back, which was the most stressful part to crochet because I just couldn't get the top straight and it was just annoying me so much, so I had to keep restarting that. But finally I managed to make it straight, and this is just one big panel, and it also has ribbing at the bottom. Lastly is the sleeves. So I put ribbing at the bottom, but it was slightly different to the ribbing that I did for the whole body of the cardigan because I just made that out of single crocheting in the back loops only, and that is how it turned out. And as you can see, after seeing all of the pieces I've made, you can realize that I have one sleeve left to do, and that's what we're going to crochet together. Okay, so I started off by chaining 62 plus 1, and I say that and not 63 because 62 plus 1 means that you have a turning chain, which doesn't count as your first stitch, because when you're starting your first row you usually skip the first stitch, so then we're basically back to 62. It just helps you turn your work and it makes everything look very nice and seamless. So after I did that, I began making 9 single crochets. So these 9 single crochets are going to be my ribbing for the sleeves, and I love inbuilt ribbing. I don't like making my ribbing separate. This is my first time doing it, and I'm never going to go back to making my ribbing separate because when you crochet something all together at once, it just looks a lot more seamless. Okay, so after I single crocheted 9, I'm going to now do double crochets all the way along until I'm on the last stitch, and then I'm going to chain 3, turn my work, and then double crochet all the way down until I have reached my ribbing section. And when I've reached my ribbing section, I'm going to be single crocheting in the back loops only. For this whole project, I've been single crocheting or double crocheting in the back loops only, and that just gives a nice different texture, like a ribbing effect to the whole cardigan, and I really like that. Okay, so this is a process that I repeated for the whole time. So I double crocheted in the back loops only, and then when I reached my ribbing, I just single crocheted in the back loops only. And when I start the new round, when I just finish my ribbing section, I chain 1 and then work up the other side, and then do my single crochets, and then work up the other double crochet side, and then do my double crochets. And then when I'm on the double crochet section, I chain 3, and then I turn my work and continue. Hopefully that is not too confusing, but it makes a lot of sense. And I repeated that process for 30 rows in total, so both sleeves have a total of 30 rows. And now I'm ready to crochet the whole cardigan together, and this is always the moment I wait for when I make such big projects. Just putting everything together is just so fun. But it was not fun tonight because I was crocheting for the whole day, so I was so exhausted, but I just continued doing it anyway. I was like, I'm almost done, so I might as well, and I stayed up really late. So I started off by single crocheting the shoulder sections together. I know you've probably heard me say this in a lot of videos, but I don't have a tapestry needle and it's really hard to find it here in Zimbabwe. That's why I couldn't do one of the designs that I had in my head because I had to sew it together. It would not work if I single crocheted it or slip stitched it together, but I just do that design another time. So yeah, I just single crocheted all the shoulder pieces together, making sure that they're nicely lined up, and I'm just checking to see if they're the same length as well, because if you have the back and it's shorter than the front pieces, that would be a complete nightmare because I'd have to start all over again. when I finished single crocheting the shoulder pieces together, I went ahead and single crocheted the sleeves together as well, and I just folded it in half and then sewed from the top all the way down to the bottom. Obviously not single crocheting the opening because I won't be able to put my arm in, but yeah. I did that on both of the sleeves, and one thing that I found really difficult was making sure that it's level. So you have to make sure it's like exactly in half so you don't have excess crochet fabric and just hanging off. I don't really know how to explain it, but if you sew things together when you're crocheting, I think you'll get what I mean. But anyways, after I did that, I began to line up my sleeves on the side of the body of my cardigan. So I had to make sure that I had enough space to sew my sleeves on the inside. So I just used stitch markers to mark the length of my sleeve so I know exactly where to stop sewing. So after I marked the areas on both sides of the cardigan, I just began stitching a little bit until I reached the stitch marker, and I left that gap for where I'm going to insert the sleeve. And again, I sewed up both sides of the body of the cardigan, leaving the gaps for the sleeves. And using my sewing knowledge, I realized, wait, before I single crochet the sleeves to the opening of the body of the cardigan, I need to turn my sleeve inside out so it's now becoming the right side. So I needed to place the sleeve inside so the right sides are facing the right side, if that makes sense. So you have the right side of your body of the cardigan matching up with the right side of your sleeve, because when you have clothes you have an inside out and a right side. So that's basically what I'm trying to say. So then I began adding a few stitch markers just to hold it in place, and I don't even know how I functioned so long without using stitch markers, because I only bought them like a couple of weeks ago when I had that knitting phase, and I have never really used it for crocheting, but they're so handy. They are so handy. And then I began single crocheting in a circle all the way around to attach both of the sleeves. When I finished attaching the sleeves, I realized how late it was getting. It was almost 9 p.m. and I still haven't eaten dinner yet. You know when you're just working on something, you're just so fixated on it, like you don't even take breaks to eat or use the toilet. And that was like me at the time, so I decided to get up and I took a bit of a break, and I had some vegetable fried rice and some orange, and then I just ate that, and then I continued working on my cardigan all throughout the night. So everything was basically done. All I needed to do was single crochet along the opening of my cardigan just to make it really neat, and then I decided to make the neckline a little bit small so it's tight on my shoulders. I did want kind of an off the shoulder oversized jumper type thing, but then I was like, you know what, let me have it staying on my shoulders because I don't want to keep flicking it on or putting it down. I just wanted it to stay on my shoulders. I might make another off the shoulder crochet thing another time, but yeah, I just decreased all the way around the neckline so it just stays on. And then I did this little thing at the front of the cardigan. I just sewed it a bit because I don't have buttons, so I was like, you know what, let's get creative. I don't really need buttons. Let me just make a stitch down so you can wear it in this really nice unique way. And I love how that turned out. It's actually so nice. Okay, this is what the cardigan looks like. I honestly don't know what to call it. Is it a jumper or is it a cardigan? It's kind of like a hybrid to me because it's like open at the bottom but closed at the top. But like a whole cardigan is like open and then a jumper's closed, so it's like half. Anyways, I love how it turned out. I'm actually really impressed with this, and I love how that is my own pattern, and I love like the freedom of creativity. You know, like when you learn the basics of something, now you can just go crazy. Now that you've known the foundational rules on how to do a certain thing, and that's me with crocheting. Like I want to learn how to crochet so many more unique pieces, but one thing that I kind of struggle with is perfectionism. I was actually gonna scrap this whole video because I did not like how the cardigan looked until I started altering it and I tried making it in a way that I would actually wear it, you know. I don't like making things that I wouldn't even wear because what's the point? And I think it turned out okay. It's good enough for me to show you guys, but I don't know if I'd call it perfect, but it is a nice cozy winter cardigan. I really want to know what you guys think because I am just, yeah, I don't know. I think I've been staring at it for too long. If you come back to me in a couple days or so, I'll probably give you a different opinion. But yeah, that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I will see you in the next one.